is about tactics and schemes, and how much of it is about what you just said, relationships?
Well, I think as a head coach, it's more with how you deal with people on an everyday basis. And the tactics and the things of that sort, the assistant coaches seem to take more of a load in that regard. With me, it's dealing with the players, dealing with the media, how to frame everything so that we're, striving to get better on a daily basis. And that's really the majority of where I spend my time.
Calgary interim head coach Jeff Ward is my guest. Again, I'm trying to talk about your team, but I think your background is so interesting. For instance, when you were teaching, you started coaching the local midget team. How did that opportunity come about, and what do you remember about that experience?
Well, it was great. I was single at the time and teaching in a small town in northern Ontario. And I didn't really have anything to do after school to fill my time, so the local team was looking for a guy to coach, and they approached me with it. And being a guy who loved athletics and was teaching a lot of sports at the school, I figured I might as well do it after school as well to fill some time. And I really fell in love with the coaching and decided to pursue it.
So if I had told you when you started to coach a local midget team that you would eventually win a Stanley Cup as an assistant and then go on to become a head coach in the NHL, what would you have said back then?
Oh, I would have said you're probably stretching things, but when you stick with things long enough and you give yourself to what your craft is and you enjoy it and have a passion for it, it's amazing where things will take you.
Jeff Ward joining us. I mentioned off the very top about the success you had coaching in Germany. What was that experience like?
Oh, it was great. I really recommend it for anybody. The game there is not as much for grind because the schedule's less. You only play a couple of games a week, so you've got the opportunity to get away from the game a little bit. It's fun that way. You can spend more time doing other things. And I really like the professional development opportunity that it offered to me, and I would recommend it to anybody. Just coaching against other coaches from different countries, having the opportunity to go to world championships and being involved in that, it was really rounded me out as a coach and, of course, opened me up to a lot of new ideas.
And I said that I would ask you about your team before you left. So Andrew Mangiapane, who was the one who tied the game at 1-1, got you back to 3-2 in the third period, then he capped it off with a hat trick with the empty netter. When you've got a young player like that, and he works as hard as he does, and he earns the respect of the vets, and then he is rewarded with a hat trick, how good does that feel for you as the coach and for the rest of the team, the guys in the room?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, all the guys were cheering for him, and there's no way last night that Johnny Gaudreau was going to fire that puck into the empty net, even though he could have. He was going to hang on until he had the opportunity to give it to Mangie to get that hat trick. So when you're in the room and you love life as much as he does, and you bring as much to the room as he does, and he's really earned the respect of our veteran players over the course of this season. Everybody just felt great for him, and he's a real good story for our team.
And finally, what do you make of the way he and Matthew Tkachuk and Michael Backlund and the way they all work together? How does that look and feel to you?
Oh, it's great. I think the thing that makes them so successful is that they're three real smart hockey players, and they have the ability offensively to hang on to pucks and create time and space for themselves, and so they're able to make real good plays when they see the opening.
He was a coach of the year in the AHL and in Germany. Won a Stanley Cup as an assistant with the Bruins. Calgary is just 2 points out of first in the Pacific, and they are in first in the wild card slot. They're at home against Boston on Friday night. Jeff, I really appreciate it. Great to have you on the show.
Thanks very much. Love being with you.
That was fun. Good to talk some Calgary Flames hockey on the program. Good to talk Calgary Flames hockey. Good to talk NHL on this show.
I love when you talk hockey.
Thank you, Bella. I'm not going to wait for the postseason. And they're a good story. He's a good story. Started off coaching midget hockey, local midget hockey, when he was teaching, and ended up winning a Stanley Cup as an assistant and becoming a head coach in the NHL. And he's got them right in the thick of things. All right, looking ahead to hour number 3. At the top, I've got Denny Hamlin, who won the Daytona 500 the second year in a row, and he's got 3 in the last 5. Of course, that race ended with a really, really scary crash. We will talk to Denny Hamlin about the win and the final moments of that race. Caleb Wesson, Ohio State Buckeye.